there, very good evening and welcome to the news at 6, where we get you the day's top developing stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the headlines. Trivendra Singh Rawat is sworn in as the 8th Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. Satpal Maharaj and Harak Singh Rawat are among 9 ministers who also took oath. Suspense continues over BJP's choice for the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. Big announcement is expected after the legislature party meeting to decide the issue. The Chief Justice of India, Justice J.S. Kheher, questions the judicial system of the country, highlights irregularities in the system that need to be urgently addressed to ensure justice for all. And differences between President Donald Trump and German Chancellor Angela Merkel take center stage at their first meeting at White House. Leaders try to find common ground on a host of thorny issues. First, news from Uttarakhand, where Trivendra Singh Rawat became the Chief Minister of the state today. The swearing-in, which was held at Dehradun's parade ground, was attended by the Prime Minister. Here are the details.
Trivendra Singh Rawat was sworn in as the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand on Saturday. Governor K.K. Paul administered the oath of office and secrecy to Rawat and 9 ministers, including Satpal Maharaj and Harak Singh Rawat, in Dehradun. The swearing-in was attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP Chief Amit Shah and other national and state party leaders. Before the swearing-in, Rawat promised to work for the development of the state.
मैं आपको विश्वास दिलाता हूं कि हमारे आंदोलनकारियों ने जो त्याग, जो अपना बलिदान दिया, हम उसके अनुकूल इस राज्य के निर्माण की अपनी ओर से भरपूर कोशिश करेंगे, उनकी आकांक्षाओं का राज्य बनाएंगे.
A former RSS activist for nearly 20 years, Rawat won the Doiwala Assembly seat for the 3rd time in the recently concluded state assembly elections. He was also in charge of BJP's Jharkhand unit and is considered close to party president Amit Shah. BJP scored a massive victory in the assembly elections in the state, winning 57 of the 70 seats. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
However, what will be the big story this evening is the BJP legislature party meeting underway in Uttar Pradesh to decide the name for the new Chief Minister. BJP leaders Yogi Adityanath, Bhupendra Yadav, Om Mathur, KP Maurya and Sunil Bansal are reportedly holding a separate meeting ahead of that meeting, triggering speculation of a 6-time MP from Gorakhpur, Yogi Adityanath, making a strong case for his candidature for the CM's post. Here's a look at the events as they unfolded during the day.
Suspense over the new Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh continued till the very end for the BJP on Saturday. The media was told that the newly elected BJP MLAs will meet in the evening to elect the leader of the state legislative party at Lok Bhavan, and all the names doing the rounds were purely speculative.
सब स्पेकुलेशन है, निर्णय हमारे विधायक दल के बैठक में होगा.
बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है. उत्तर प्रदेश ने करवट ली है और बड़ी जबरदस्त करवट ली है. 325 विधायक जीत के आए भारतीय जनता पार्टी के और बड़े कद्दावर लोग हैं जो सीएम की रेस में हैं. आज हमारी सब बैठक हो रही है, इसी में प्रस्ताव आएंगे.
हमारे बीच का ही होगा क्योंकि सभी प्रत्याशी बहुत परिश्रम से यहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं और सभी में योग्यता है. तो हम समझते हैं कि सबको अवसर देके ही पार्टी सोच समझ के ही अपना मुख्यमंत्री चुनेगी.
मुझे लगता है कि जो इंतजार सबका है प्रदेश का, वो बहुत जल्दी पूरा होगा और नाम और चेहरा वो दोनों सामने आ जाएंगे.
Central observers, Union Minister M. Venkaiah Naidu and National General Secretary Bhupendra Yadav were expected to inform MLAs about the choice of the BJP's top leadership. A decision that the MLAs meeting was expected to endorse. But throughout the day, supporters continued to hold protests to express their preference for local favourites.
यूपी का जो सीएम हमारे बाबा योगी आदित्यनाथ को बनाया जाए, ये मेरी मांग ही मेरी नहीं, वरन इन सारे युवाओं की और पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश की मांग है, क्योंकि आज 325 सीटें जो आप लोग देख रहे हैं, आप इस बात से हम नकार नहीं सकते हैं, कहीं ना कहीं हमारे बाबा योगी आदित्यनाथ का एक अभूतपूर्व योगदान रहा है। अगर केशव मौर्य मुख्यमंत्री यहाँ का सीएम उत्तर प्रदेश का नहीं बनते हैं तो ये अन्याय होगा, ये अन्याय होगा। आप लोग मेरी बात मोदी जी के तक पहुंचावे और केशव मौर्य जी को यहाँ का उत्तर प्रदेश का सीएम बनावे।
Right from Union Minister Manoj Sinha, Home Minister and former State Chief Minister Rajnath Singh, BJP State Unit President Keshav Prasad Maurya, and 8-time MLA from Shahjahanpur Suresh Khanna, as well as BJP MP Yogi Adityanath, all have been projected as the main contenders for the post. But each of these leaders consistently played down their chances.
सीएम की रेस में आप भी हैं क्या?
नहीं भैया, हम किसी रेस में नहीं हैं, मैं केवल एक बैठक में जा रहा हूँ।
देखिए, प्रदेश की जनता का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, देश के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, जिनकी वजह से और जिनके नाम पे, जिनके चेहरे पे ये बहुमत आया।
उम्मीद है इस बहुमत से संगीत सॉन्ग कितना नजर आएगा?
पूरा उत्तर प्रदेश का विकास होगा और सब कार्यकर्ता नजर आएंगे, मुख्यमंत्री भी नजर आएंगे, चिंता मत करिए।
The BJP is forming government in the politically crucial state after a gap of 15 years. The party secured 312 seats in the 403-member House, while its allies Apna Dal and Suheldev Bharatiya Samaj Party got 9 and 4 seats each. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, our correspondent Vishal Daya is tracking all those developments. And Vishal, while we were in fact just giving our viewers a report of what's been going on through the day, there is a news flash coming in from the news agency ANI saying that Yogi Adityanath has been named the CM designate for UP. So in all sense, it seems like this is going to be the final name now, although an official statement coming in from the party is of course what's awaited.
Well, yes, indeed, Tracy, we can very comfortably say as of now, but as per sources still, because the official announcement is yet to be made by the BJP. In fact, the meeting of the BJP's newly elected legislators is still going on, but what the sources say and what the information which is coming out of that particular meeting is that the new Chief Minister of the state of Uttar Pradesh will be none other than Yogi Adityanath. Now, this is going to be a really significant move if this is made an official by the party's observers. Once the meeting is over, that can happen in a few minutes from now, because Yogi's name came into picture just yesterday night. In fact, he was not one of the front runners since the day the results were out. The front runners included the current Home Minister and ex-Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Rajnath Singh, and another minister, his cabinet colleague Manoj Sinha, then Keshav Prasad Maurya, the BJP State Unit President. But it seems Yogi Adityanath, BJP's MP from Gorakhpur, seems to have, outscored all of them. He will, or indeed, in fact, will be the next Chief Minister of the state of Uttar Pradesh. We had a very detailed conversation with him during elections, Tracy, and I had this question to him as to whether or not he is in the race to become the Chief Minister. At that point in time, Yogi had a very plain, simple answer that he is not in the race, and anybody who is made Chief Minister by the BJP will be acceptable to him. But things seems to have changed in the last 24 hours.
And how? Exactly, like you've pointed out, you have the state BJP chief, Keshav Prasad Maurya. Of course, you had Rajnath Singh, of course, at the first as the option. He, of course, he refused to be so, refused to even be put in as an option, in fact. You have Keshav Prasad Maurya, that was, of course, negated as well. Then you again have, until yesterday, even till this morning for that matter, Manoj Sinha, who is, of course, Telecom Minister. And now, what do you think may have gone in favor of Yogi Adityanath? Do you think the very fact that he was willing, as compared to the other candidates, who were perhaps expressing some sort of apprehension towards taking up that post, do you think that may have gone in his favor?
Well, Tracy, there were several factors working, simultaneously as far as finalization of Chief Minister's name is concerned in the BJP. While till yesterday night, the front runner was Manoj Sinha, but it seems not many in the party state unit, specifically the newly elected MLAs, and a large chunk of them were not very happy with the choice of Manoj Sinha as Chief Minister, because of one major reason which was pointed out by several in the organization and in the newly elected MLAs as well, that he is relatively not very familiar face at the organization level. And this indeed is his first term as a minister in the cabinet, and his appeal as far as in the state, a statewide appeal was something which was put under question by several in the organization, and then past midnight yesterday night, the new name which came into the picture was none other than Yogi Adityanath. Now, Yogi Adityanath has been a very popular name in the Purvanchal area of the state of Uttar Pradesh, and he's been holding BJP's flag high in the Gorakhpur district and in and around areas for almost 15 years now. He's been winning the parliamentary seat from Gorakhpur continuously, and he has a lot of influence out there. So it seems his popularity as a ground level leader, and his grip, strong grip, I must say at that, in the organization, and not only in the political organization, that's BJP, but also seemingly very strong connections with the Sangh, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, and in fact his appeal at a larger scale seems to have worked in his favor, in addition to the fact that the original choice which was what sources say was Manoj Sinha, original choice of the BJP's top brass, was seemingly not going down well with the newly elected MLAs and the party's organization. And in fact, let's not forget Keshav Prasad Maurya, because he is somebody who is considered to be one of the architects of BJP's victory in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So if at all he has been passed over for the post of chief minister, then his inputs and his advice definitely would have carried weight, and in this case it seems he was not very positively disposed towards Manoj Sinha's name. So several factors seems to have worked in Yogi Adityanath's name, but once again I must say that this is still information which is coming on the basis of
sources,
sources, and an official confirmation, Tracy, is still awaited. But all in all, we can still say that Yogi Adityanath seems to have outscored everyone out here, and being from nowhere in the race and then becoming the front runner in the morning, he seems to be finally getting ready to take oath tomorrow as UP's chief minister.
All right, we are waiting, of course, for that meeting eventually to end. It's still going on. And we'll come back to you, Vishal, when eventually we do get a confirmation from the BJP there. But thanks so much for joining us for the moment. We'll keep tracking developments here, of course, on Rajya Sabha TV. Right now, we'll take a very quick break and be back with more news. Stay with us.
Nehru Trophy boat race of Kerala, popularly called Vallam Kali in local parlance. This historic boat race dates back to 1952, when Pandit Nehru visited the state and a pageantry of boats accompanied him from Kottayam to Alappuzha. The race, conducted on the second Saturday of August every year, is a major tourist attraction. It's generally the snake boats which participate in the race, and hence the shape of the winner's trophy is also a replica of a snake boat.
Welcome back. Now, the Chief Justice of India, Justice J.S. Kheher, today questioned the judicial system of the country while pointing out the irregularities that have crept into the system. Speaking at an event in New Delhi, the Chief Justice spoke about the ability of criminals to overturn the system and evade justice by using wealth, political clout and fear. Concerned about the victims in bomb blasts, acid attacks and in rape cases, the Chief Justice appealed to legal service authorities and lawyers to reach out to the victims.
Ours is a strange country. The bigger the criminal, the bigger the outreach. I haven't seen ever before that a convict in a terrorist crime who has failed up to the Supreme Court, and also in his review can get access to justice in the manner that we extend it. But I have wondered over the years, what about the victim?
The Punjab cabinet on Saturday decided to get rid of VIP culture. In his first cabinet meeting, Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh announced the removal of all beacon lights from the vehicles of ministers, MLAs and bureaucrats across the state with immediate effect. The decision is in line with the party's manifesto. The cabinet also decided that the first session of the 15th Punjab Vidhan Sabha will be held from the 24th of March. Captain Amrinder Singh became Punjab Chief Minister on Thursday after the Congress swept the state assembly elections, winning 77 in the 117-member House. Two Indian clerics, including the head cleric of Delhi's Hazrat Nizamuddin Dargah and his nephew, who went missing in Pakistan, are in custody of Pakistan's intelligence agency. Official sources reveal that the two have been detained over their alleged links with the Muttahida Qawmi movement of Altaf Hussain. Sources said that Syed Asif Nizami and his nephew Nazim Nizami were in fact offloaded from Karachi-bound Shaheen Airlines on the 14th of March at the Allama Iqbal International Airport, Lahore, and were taken to an undisclosed location for investigation. The clerics will be freed if nothing is established against them, revealed the sources. On Friday, Pakistan had conveyed to India that it was seriously pursuing with its law enforcement agencies the case of the two missing Indian clerics. Earlier, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj had said that the Indian government has taken up the matter with Pakistan. The two had gone to visit the famous Data Darbar shrine in Lahore and were to catch a flight to Karachi on Wednesday. The clerics had gone to Karachi to meet their relatives on the 8th of March before travelling to Lahore to visit the shrine. And now cricket, and Cheteshwar Pujara lit up Ranchi on day 3 of the third test between India and Australia, hitting his 11th test century to help India seize the initiative. Murli Vijay gave him company for the 102-run second wicket partnership before heading back to the pavilion after he lofted a Steve O'Keefe ball at the score of 82. Pujara, however, continued with his 100, sharing important stands with Ajinkya Rahane, Karun Nair and Riddhiman Saha, pushing India closer towards the Australian first innings total of 451. India ended the day at 360 for 6, trailing by 91 runs. Pujara was still batting at 130 while Saha is at 18 not out. For Australia, Pat Cummins enjoyed a superb comeback, picking up 4 for 59, putting the brakes on India's run fest. On day 3, Cummins added the wickets of Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane and R. Ashwin. And in some grim news, professional auto racer Ashwin Sundar and his wife Nivedita passed away after a fatal car crash in Chennai on Saturday. The couple's BMW car rammed into a roadside tree, causing the car to erupt in flames. The racing world has mourned the young driver's death. Ashwin Sundar and his wife, who was a doctor, were trapped inside the car and were unable to come out in time. Ashwin Sundar was driving the car at the time of the accident, which was caught on camera by witnesses. The news of his death has shocked the Indian motorsport fraternity, with the Federation of Motorsports Clubs of India President Akbar Ibrahim saying that it was a sad day for sports. Ashwin was in fact a former national champion, having won the Formula 4 national title twice. He had also won the MRF Formula 1600 International Challenge competition on 2 occasions. All right, with that, we'll take a quick break here, but up next, we're getting international news. Stay with us.
The splendid, grand and massive neo-Buddhist copper dome of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It gets its influence from stupa at Sanchi. The dome is more than twice the height of the rest of the building. The reinforced concrete shell of the outer dome began to be formed during the beginning of 1929. The last stone of the dome was laid on April 6, 1929.
Welcome back. International news and stark differences between US President Donald Trump and German Chancellor Angela Merkel on everything from trade to immigration were in full view during an IC-first meeting at the White House yesterday. At an awkward joint press conference, Trump and Merkel showed little common ground as they addressed a host of thorny issues, including NATO, defense spending and free trade deals.
It was a meeting of top world leaders where body language spoke much louder than words. At the joint press conference, new US President Donald Trump and the long-serving stateswoman Angela Merkel, who leads Europe's largest economy, Germany, took pains to downplay differences that were hard to mask. At the end of the conference, Trump told Merkel they did have something in common, referring to being wiretapped under Barack Obama, a remark that drew a quizzical look from Merkel.
As far as wiretapping, I guess, by this past administration, at least we have something in common, perhaps.
The German Chancellor arrived at a snowy White House, hoping to reverse a chill in relations after Trump's incendiary election rhetoric, in which he often targeted her. The meeting began cordially, with the pair shaking hands at the entrance of the White House. But later, sitting side by side in the Oval Office, Merkel's suggestion of another handshake was ignored by Trump. Trump said he expected the United States to do fantastically well in trade with Germany, while Merkel said she hoped the United States and the European Union could resume discussions on a trade agreement. Trump maintained he is a proponent of free trade and is not an isolationist.
On trade with Germany, I think we're going to do fantastically well. Right now, I would say that the negotiators for Germany have done a far better job than the negotiators for the United States. But hopefully we can even it out. We don't want victory, we want fairness. All I want is fairness. Germany's done very well in its trade deals with the United States, and I give them credit for it.
Und es ist ja mehr als fair, dass beide Seiten natürlich die Verträge abschließen, einen Gewinn daraus haben wollen. Und in diesem Geiste würde ich mich freuen, wenn wir die Verhandlungen zwischen der Europäischen Union und den Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika auch wieder aufnehmen könnten. Wir haben jetzt das Handelsabkommen mit Kanada abgeschlossen und ich hoffe, dass wir vielleicht auch in die Lage kommen, hier wieder die Gespräche zu eröffnen. Darüber werden wir aber noch sprechen.
Trump also praised the German Chancellor on her country's spending on defense and said they had a productive meeting. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now to France, where a man was shot dead after he grabbed a soldier's gun at Paris's Orly airport, sparking an evacuation and severe flight disruption. The suspect made the attempt at the airport's south terminal after targeting a counter-terror patrol. He fled into a nearby shop with a weapon before he was killed. No one else was injured in the incident. A bomb sweep took place at the airport to make sure the dead man was not wearing an explosive belt, but nothing was found. A police officer was also injured after being shot during a routine road check in an earlier incident in north of Paris. It is not yet clear if the two incidents were linked. Around 3,000 passengers were evacuated from the airport and flights were suspended from both the terminals of the airport. The incidents come weeks before France holds its presidential elections. The country remains on high alert following a string of terror attacks directed and inspired by the Islamic State militants.
Il est attené par le cou et en même temps il tenait le bras, il tenait l'arme de la militaire. D'accord. Et après, nous quand on a vu ça, bon, on a bien vu que c'était sérieux, on s'est sauvé, qu'on a descendu l'escalier et après on a entendu 2 coups de feu.
On a commencé à entendre des coups de feu. Au début on a entendu un bruit, un boom, on s'est tous regardés, on n'a pas compris ce que c'était, on s'est dit non c'est sûrement un truc qui est tombé par terre, quelque chose. Et là on a entendu encore 2, 3, 4 coups de feu jusqu'à 5 là où on s'est dit bon c'est...
And now let's get to more international news updates in Global Buzz. Saudi Arabia says Iranians will participate in this year's Hajj pilgrimage to the holy cities of Mecca and Medina. No Iranian pilgrims attended the Hajj last year because of deepening tensions between Iran and Saudi Arabia. The tensions have risen in recent years as they have supported opposite sides in conflicts in Syria, Yemen, Bahrain and elsewhere. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson met with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on Saturday for talks amid tensions in Northeast Asia. Beijing is said to be angry at being told to rein in nuclear-armed North Korea, and Washington repeatedly demanding it to do more to control Pyongyang. Tillerson is expected to meet with President Xi Jinping on Sunday, concluding in fact his first tour of North Asia. As many as 67 people were killed and thousands forced to evacuate after intense rains triggered Peru's worst floods in recent memory. Landslides and raging rivers swept people away, wrecked houses and highways, and destroyed crops in a potential sign of a global El Nino. The disaster comes after a period of severe drought, fueling criticism that the country is ill-prepared for climate change. And finally, 4 pandas are making the most of their stay at a zoo in Sichuan province in southwest China, as they are showered with attention from onlookers. Cameras caught the 4 in various playful moods. We're leaving you now with these visuals of the pandas having fun.